Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Battersea Park 5K, the fourth fixture in the Top Flight series. I'm Richard Morell, and we're going to be bringing you all the action from today's men's and women's elite 5K races. I'm joined in the studio today by former international athlete Cameron Boyack and race director Chris Parr. Cam, good morning, you well?
I'm good, thanks for that, Rich. All set, 5 minutes to go till the start. We'll get going at some point soon, start telling you about some of the entries. We have an absolutely cracking fast course today, 2 laps. It's a very sheltered course in Battersea Park. I'm sure people are very familiar with this. There's been a number of events on here over the last few months. We've seen quite a few 5K events running through here. Very popular venue. Weather's good, 14 degrees, so pretty fairly warm, about right, nothing too warm, nothing too cold, light breeze, and the course is nice and sheltered too, so if there is a bit of a breeze, shouldn't really be much of a problem. But yeah, we can just see on the left hand side some of the athletes are starting to warm up. We'll start to get through some of them pretty soon, because it's not quite like the 10Ks, is it, Red? We've not got much time on our hands compared to before.
I know, it's going to be a short one today, but yeah, like you mentioned, Cam, weather looks good, looks nice and calm, doesn't look too windy there, and we've got a really flat course here, which I think is going to be a main thing for the athletes here. Not too many twists and turns in it either, nice straight lines, so the athletes can build into a nice rhythm and click them Ks away at what we're hoping to be a fast pace. We'll have a quick scoot through some of the leading entries on the men's and women's side. We'll start with the elite women's. We've got Shauna Heaslip, Ireland International, 24th in the World Half Marathon in 2023, and a 10K Trafford PB of 32:14. So she's a real quality operator, Shauna Heaslip there. We've got Olivia Forrest, one of the young guns in the race. I'll be looking out for her to see how she does today, because I think we mentioned her in the preview race. These type of events are going to be really good experience for her, mixing it with some of the elite seniors in the women's race. Holly Archer, European silver medalist. How can we go through this 5K without mentioning her? Again, she's competed at that top level on an international circuit, so this for her will be she won't feel out of her depth at all in the company that she'll be keeping today and that. And we've also got Elsa Palmer in there. She ran a big PB last year in Leicester, and she's recently been 6th at Bucks on the indoors in the 3K. So she's going to be quite sharp, I would imagine, Cam, coming off a bit of an indoor season. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think, when you're race sharp, especially off the track, normally when you get back on the road, it does tend to feel quite a lot easier, especially if you're used to maybe doing 3Ks or whatever. But yeah, no, I think that she'll definitely be able to put a good shift in today. She's got a decent 5K PB. It's not quite as fast as some of the other girls. Like for instance, Holly, who's ran under 16 minutes. Whether she's in that kind of form today or not, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Still early season. I'm sure she'll be in a bit of a transition phase at the minute, looking to go into the track season. So yeah, no, it'd be good to see how she's going. Birmingham Uni lot, they are in some pretty good shape. And she has run a PB this year. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
I think if you can come, I did watch the Bucks indoor race. I did see that it was a very, very strong field. It was a championship best performance from Alex Millard to be able to break that and to be able to win it in comfortable fashion. So to come 6th there, she must be in pretty good shape. But yeah, looking at that, I think some of the men's as well. We've got some pretty good top performers in there too. We've got Jonathan Collier from Harrow. He was top 30 in London Marathon last year, actually, was Jonathan. He's a regular 3K runner for Harrow in the National Athletics League, 8:21 PB over 3K. He's 14 and a half minutes over 5K. I just see at the front line too, your favourite, your man. Who's that at the front and the left? Big Red, who can you tell?
Jason Bennett. He's looking very casual there, just leaning on the barrier. We've got a cracking men's and women's field. Like we mentioned there, Jason Bennett. We've got Matthew Snowden as well. He's definitely one to watch out for. 1500 runner. He's going to be targeting sub 340 this year and sub 148, but he's actually a triathlete as well. So to bring in that quality of running from a triathlete, I think is pretty unheard of, to be getting down to sub 340 for 1500. So he's going to be one to watch out for. But yeah, Jason Bennett, he's boxed off a few of the top flight races now, so he's clicking points away. We will bring you a bit more information about some of the other elite men and women in the fields as the race progresses. One thing to touch on quickly, we mentioned this in the preview show. This is a world label event now. So the races that these top flight series are bringing you actually qualify for standards for world championship races. So if anyone goes out there and clicks a standard in this 5K or in any of the 10Ks later on in the ad, these races actually count to that. Whereas some of the your 10Ks across the UK that don't have that world label, them times won't count towards qualifying for a championship.
It looks like we're just underway now as we get away. As you can see, as expected, it looks like someone has gone off straight away at the front. Looks like they're going to... Don't be surprised to see at the start if there's going to be maybe two groups formed, maybe a group of males at the front who'll all be going, maybe someone maybe take it out quite early who doesn't like to sit and kick. You can see straight away Jason Bennett is at the front. We've got a Lamar vest at the front too. I'm not sure quite who that is yet, but we'll get onto that soon. I can imagine as well, just behind that, there maybe will be a group of pretty swift ladies as well, who will all be working together to try and push their PBs back. But yeah, no, just as you expect, nice and fast course, flat as a pancake. So don't be surprised if the first kilometre does go off quite quickly. The guy at the front looks pretty comfortable. Do you know who that is? We can't quite see the numbers to see who it is.
Can't quite make out the numbers, but as soon as we get information on who that is, we'll let you guys know. I think the key thing here, Cam, with a 5K that is on a fast, flat course. It's a 2-lap course as well. I think the main thing is getting out straight away, hitting it hard and getting into that rhythm. And it looks as though that's what's happening here, because this field is strung out early doors. We're about 400 metres, 500 metres into the race here, and it's already well strung out. So, they're shifting along at a good pace anyway, with sub 3 minute pace per K. So that means we're going to be, coming in under 15 minutes for 5K, which is sort of, it's something I would expect from the preview show and from knowing what the quality of the athletes we've got in this field are. I would certainly expect it to be sub 15 minutes. But it's good that they've got out there and got after this straight away, Cam, and it looks quick, doesn't it?
It does look quick. I mean, you can usually say, like you've just said yourself, if it strings out in a road race like this pretty quickly, you'd expect it to be pretty fast at the front. At the average pace at the minute, I mean, don't take that as gospel on the screen. It will change and shift the route as maybe if the GPS gets lost along the way. But the average pace does say 258 at the minute per K. I'm sure it's a little bit quicker than that, considering how fast it's strung out already. But yeah, I think that with it being a lap course, it's a lot easier for the athletes to keep track of the pace they're going at, and especially if they go around and get halfway around and they can see the clock, and it'll be a lot easier to be able to just see on the left hand side. You can see Jamie there on the bike with some of the getting some photographs, some content. So do check out the Instagram page later. You can probably see some of the footage up close. But yeah, no, I think just behind there, I think it's Gabriel Selassie.
It is, yes.
You can see, so the guy, 14:41 in Battersea in February, so I'm sure he'll go quicker than that. He's got a 14:08 PB, 3:52 for 1500. So I don't think he's nothing spectacular over 15, but he's still got some decent pace in his legs if he needs to. So I'm sure he doesn't really need to worry about taking the pace on very quickly. But you can see Jason Bennett hanging on at the back as well. We've seen what he did in the last few races, didn't we, Red? He hung back just like this and came through. So don't be surprised to see him pick off people towards the end.
Absolutely, yeah. I think in the last race that we've seen Jason, he ran a really good race and was just outworked or outkicked that last 800 metres meters really. But he done a similar thing there. He sat back early on, watched the race unfold, then made a move at halfway. I guess with a 5K, you don't want to let the athletes at the front build up too much of a gap and too much momentum, because it's not a long race. It's just over 3 miles. So the race does go pretty quickly. And you can see that Samuel Gabriel-Selassie there and the other lead athlete that we've got have both building up quite a bit of a lead on the other guys now. And Gabriel-Selassie looks nice and relaxed there, just having a glance down at his watch. They're coming up to a mile shortly. I think they went through a cane around about 2:55, so we're looking at 14:35 pace at the moment. Now I'm sure that will rally, and they'll probably close that last K a lot quicker than the early Ks that they're putting in. But we can see a bit of a surge there and another gap forming. So yeah, it's building nicely, this one, Cam.
It's always nice to see an athlete not afraid to go out. Everyone loves a racer at the end of the day, and it's always nice to be able to see someone try and take it out, not afraid to make a go of it, make a race of it. Gabriel-Selassie's obviously sat on the back of him. If there's any breeze, I'm sure he'll tuck in. But yeah, no, they're already taking away from everybody else. It shows the pace they're running at. Both of them looking very fluid indeed. Gabriel-Selassie especially, I mean, he's looking very fluid. Two top quality athletes. I wouldn't not be surprised if they get close to their PBs today. The conditions are definitely there. You can see the sun's out. Everybody's running beside them along through Battersea Park. It's a great venue. But yeah, no, I think it'd be interesting to see as well some of the women. I think, Rich did touch on that earlier. We do have some pretty good runners, especially Shona Heaslip, who's in absolutely amazing form at the minute. She's a 24th at the World Half Marathon in 2023, as already talked about. Elsa Palmer as well. She's actually does quite a lot of trails and cross country. She did put that down as her strength. She's being coached by Dean Miller at the minute at the University of Birmingham. She's also a medical student, which is even more phenomenal because we can all understand the amount of work that gets put into that. But she did recently compete at the World Cross Country Champs and placed 8th in the short course race. So I can imagine with the short course race, maybe she's talking about the one at Parliament Hill. If that is the case, that is a very good performance because that was some strong ladies in that, because that was the trial for the World University Games. My bad. I think that's what she meant. I think she meant that she competed. She finished 8th the World University Short Course is what I actually meant. Sorry about that. I do apologise. And So I think it would be nice to see if we can get some splits. We are going to try and get that back to you at some point. But just back to the men's race. Gabriel-Selassie still sat in, tucking in behind. I would not be surprised if he does decide to maybe take on the last kilometre and just sit in and try and take the win here. Some good prize money up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think going back to what you were saying there, Cam, about splits, got race director Chris Power waving at me across the studio here, telling me that we'll have splits at 2.5k, so we'll be able to find out who exactly is positioned where at the halfway mark. Yes, so we've got Gabriel-Selassie and another lead athlete there. That these two seem to have broken away from the rest of the pack, and they both look good, Cam. I think they both look nice and relaxed. They went through their second K in about 2:55 again, so it's steady away, working around that 14:35 mark for 5k. Like I said, I do think this will pick up. Possibly the second half will be quicker, but certainly I'd imagine that last K to be getting down sub 250. So as we come through the halfway mark here, we're around about 720ish, 725 there.
So imagine, I think, to be honest with you, Richard, I mean, I would not be surprised if in this lap here does pick up, especially if someone just tried to hit the front. Maybe the pace will drop at the front. Gabriel-Selassie might be happy with that if he's just here to take the win. If he's here to try and maybe prove his fitness, improve on his performance in February, where he ran 14:41, I'm sure if he's here to do that and test his fitness, that he may try and take it on pretty soon. If not, you can imagine it'll be a pretty big kick at the end. But it does look like the guy in the Lamar vest at the back is starting to reel him in a bit. So maybe the pace is slightly dropping. It does look like it's dropping a little bit. And they do seem to be catching. So maybe Gabriel-Selassie should be quite aware of that if he is trying to just go for the win. He doesn't want to maybe have somebody else in amongst the mix. So less chances of winning that kick at the end if he's gonna drop the cog at the end. We
can see the Lamar athlete there. He does look to be reining them in a little bit, but What I would say, Cam, is just looking at the athletes there, and this is no slant on the athlete in the Lamar vest. He looks like he's working a lot harder than, say, Gabriel Selassie in second place there. And if you notice the form, the sort of relaxed nature of the shoulders that Gabriel Selassie's got, the cadence of the stride, he looks springy but relaxed at the same time. And you know, these two I feel like these two have got a lot in reserve here. And yeah, like we've said, this second half, I would anticipate it being quicker, but certainly that last K is going to be, you know, we're going to see fireworks there. And Gabriel Selassie, for the first time, looks as though he was pulling out there to maybe have a look at the course ahead, see what's coming up along this stretch, and you know, he may be thinking about making a move. You know, we're coming up to 3.5K, we're coming up to around about a mile to go, and like I said, these 5Ks, you know, these athletes it feels like a long time for them because they're working hard, but from a racing point of view, it's over quite quick. But Gabriel Selassie looks really relaxed here. Oh, even having a little wave to the crowd there. That's how relaxed he is, Cam.
You know he's in good shape if he's able to do that with 1.5K to go. Only 5 minutes left, about 5 minutes, I'd say, maybe just under 5 minutes left of running to go. So maybe around about just under a mile. So don't not be surprised if the pace does start to pick up as they go around. Like we've just said before, as Richard was saying, these races go by so quickly. It might not feel like it when you're running it sometimes if you're running at PB pace, but trust me, in this last 5 minutes, it will go quickly. You can see now, Gabriel Selassie is starting to move alongside him. He isn't working too hard. The shoulders are still relaxed. As he's just starting to move away, he's starting to make daylight, and I would not be surprised. He's clearly just thought maybe the last mile, doesn't want to leave it until the last 200 metres.
Yeah.
This guy in second, he's doing well to hang on there. But Gabriel Selassie still looks comfortable. Would not be surprised if the gap does start to get bigger and better. We just got information as well from the race director that it is Jonathan Collier. We did think that it was potentially Jonathan. We just did not want to, because we couldn't see his number. We didn't want to be disrespectful and say the wrong name. But yeah, no, Jonathan is top, like I said, we've already mentioned, top 30 in London Marathon last year. He does run 3K regularly, 8:21 3K. So don't be surprised if he starts to come alongside. And he is indeed. He's not letting Gabriel Selassie go, is he, Red?
No, he's not at all. I think, you know, he's a 64.5 minute half marathoner. And, you know, like you mentioned, top 30 in the London Marathon last year. So this to him is, you know, 5K to him is a short distance. And I think that's probably evident in the way that he just got out there from the gun, attacked the race and hit it hard. Because for him, you know, he might not have, say, the basic speed that, say, Gabriel Selassie has, who's more of a 5K runner and, you know, has got the quicker PB. But I think Collier's just thought, right, we're getting out there. I'm hitting this hard from the off, and I'm gonna test them. I'm gonna test the rest of the field. And you know, credit to him, he broke that field up after 400 meters. But we can see now that Gabriel Selassie is moving away, and he is looking easy. Gabriel Selassie, you know, he picked up points in Warwick before, so he's going to be picking up more points today, more prize money for him as well. As we know, we've mentioned this previously in the other top flight races. It is generous prize money for these, so he's going to be clicking more points towards that series win. And also we've got Jason Bennett, who looks as though he's probably back in about fourth place here. Again, he's still going to be in a position to be taking points today, so it's all going to be up for grabs come the end of this series. But we can see Gabriel Selassie's putting daylight in there now with about 800 metres to go, and the pace is around about that 250 mark.
Yeah, I mean, as Rich was just saying, we've got the points, we've also got the prize money. We did say the race director did let us know that it is sub 14.50. We did see Gabriel Selassie checking his watch before he made his move. 14.45. 14.50. My bad. But he may be just off that at the today, but I mean, he's just going for it. I did see him checking his watch, so maybe he's thinking about trying to improve his season's best. Collier did hit the front, and it was a very, very brave run, but it's no surprise. He does have a slightly faster half marathon at 64.37 than Gabriel Selassie at 65 minutes. So that's probably the reason why he did hit the front early on. But Gabriel Selassie, like Rich was just saying, he does have a lot more speed in the tank than Collier at the minute on off-peak, just off personal best.
He looks so relaxed as well. You know, we've only got 500 metres to go, Cam, and he's obviously put the hammer down, and he's working hard. But it's a testament to where his fitness is at, that he looks so relaxed at this stage here. So, you know, we're coming in with 400 metres to go. He's got this wrapped up now. No one's coming back at him, unless disaster strikes. So it's it's all now about what's happening beyond this, what's happening in second, third, fourth and fifth place in the elite men's race. And then also I can't wait to get some information on what's happening with the elite women's race, because that was an absolute cracker on paper, wasn't it, Cam?
Absolutely indeed. But as you say, coming into the final few 100 metres now, you can see he's starting to pick the pace up. The gap is getting bigger and bigger. He will be looking to get maximum points, like we said before. Maximum points will be given to Gabriel Selassie. His teammate is actually Jason Bennett, who is top the leaders, so maybe he'll be able to shove him off the top and be able to fight it out with training partners. I'm sure there'll be a bit of banter being thrown about at the end of the race between the two of them. But he's looking comfortable still. He doesn't look like his arms aren't pumping too much, so maybe he's in good shape. I'm in a lot better shape than maybe this time may suggest. But like I say, coming into the last 50 metres now, 14:25. This is a lot quicker than the first kilometre, despite only taking it. So there you go, 14:32, around about 14:31.
Great running that. Saturday morning, getting out 9 a.m. Fast 5k, what a way to tee off your weekend. Well done, Gabriel Selassie. There we can see Collier coming in second, around about 14:45-ish there. And we've got a third place. I think that might be Matt Snowden, in third place there, but I don't want to fully commit to that.
That could be too. We've also got Tom Austin as well, who is from St Mary's. It's definitely not who we thought it might be. We do have Joshua Hobbs in there as well. He is coached by Craig Winrow as well, and he was in the last race. It does not look like him, so it could be right there, Rich, actually. And that's a decent run.
Yeah, it is a good run.
Especially if you're aiming for 1500s. This
fifth place, we had Jason Bennett there crossing the line. He's had another good solid run there, and we see these athletes starting to strew through now around about the 15:30 mark. First female across the line there. 15:35 there.
That is rapid.
That is a big run.
I'm sure that's...
That is Nina Chidenius. Apologies if I haven't pronounced that correct. She's the Finnish athlete that was coming over especially for this race. 2 times national champion. She went to the Worlds last year for the marathon, and she ran in Barcelona earlier on in the year and ran 73 minutes for a half marathon. Now her PB before this camp was 15:58. She has taken a big chunk off that. That is a cracking run, that, Cam.
It is a cracking run. Not even just the time, but the fact that she looks like Shona Heaslip has also came in, and that looks like sub 16 for her. That's 2 ladies under 16 minutes, which is absolutely rapid indeed. Shona Heaslip is in fantastic form at the minute. 32:14 for her personal best for 10k and a 15:46 personal best. There's a couple more ladies coming in. Looks like Holly Archer, and I think that is Tessa McCormick as well, just in front of Holly.
Yes, it was.
She's in good form as well. 16:24 personal best, just outside of personal best. Holly, whether or not she's just transitioning to track, she's a 1500 meter specialist. So 5k is a bit of a step up for what she's for what she normally targets. But that was still a fantastic performance nonetheless. We also have one of the Jordan Lees come in there as well. I didn't quite see the number and see which one it was, but they're both fantastic athletes.
Either, but I think, looking at their PBs, Maddie is, quite a bit quicker than Millie, just on PBs on paper, so it may have been Maddie that was through first there. But again, Cam, these times are quick across the board, but I would say the elite females there have been some huge times dropped there. I think the men's was, great performance from Gabriel Selassie. Anyone running 14:30 on the road for 5k is in great form anyway. But that 15:30 by Chidenius is, that's an exceptionally quick time, that.
I think that is fun. Yeah, like you've just said, the quality of the women's there, and the time itself just basically says it all. Really speaks for itself. Absolutely fantastic running. I'm sure that they'll will have been very happy to have been able to jump in with the men as well and have people around them. Especially at the front with Nina, she's running a massive personal best. Kind of takes the pressure off as well, and you can just sort of concentrate on running and sticking on the back of people and racing some of the guys. But no, I think we've just seen Olivia Forrest come through there, just talking about that. She's unbeaten this season. A little bit off her personal best. I know she has been racing a few times in the last few weeks, so maybe she's just a little bit tired. Maybe, again, another track runner. She'll be aiming, I would have thought, to defend her English Schools 1500 metre title this year. So she may be in that transition period, a bit like what we were saying with Holly, where she's concentrating on lowering her distances, more speed work at this time of year. I'm sure you're familiar with that with yourself, Fred.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. This time of year it's a good time for a track runner who's had a winter to do a 5K, especially if you're a 1500 metre 3K type runner. It's perfect time and around springtime to get a fast 5K. But yeah, we're limited in the knowledge we have because we aren't able to touch base with all the athletes before the races. But the more information that they give to us via the new sheets that Chris has devised that can go along with the entries, the more context it gives us when we're commentating on these. Some of these athletes might be in a training block, Cam, and we don't know that. This might have all been part of a normal week where they've done 2 sessions earlier on in the week or whatever. Some might have tapered and targeted this race. It's really hard to say, but what we can go off is just what we're seeing on this stream today. And for me, Cam, a lot of great performances this morning.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, we got some great insight to some of the athletes before the race. Obviously, it's hard in a 5K, a lot more difficult in the 5K compared to the 10K. So to try and give you a lot of context because the race goes by so quickly. But Shona Heslop, she is aiming for the European half marathon. So she will be, this is a bit of a step down and probably a bit of speed work, which might sound baffling to some people that are watching this to think that a 5 kilometres is speed work. But if you're doing the mileage that she's probably doing right now, she's aiming for a marathon at the end of the year. Then I think that's a great performance. You wouldn't expect her to be in personal best shape over 5K right now if she's got a half marathon just around the corner. Yeah. She's an international athlete and she'll be probably using this as a bit of a training run, I would have thought. But like we were saying about Olivia Forrest as well, although she was off her personal best, I don't think that means much at this time of year. I'm sure her dad, who's a coach, Paul Forrest, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. For the amount of titles she's won this year, this will be just part of her training too.
Yeah. I wonder, Cam, we've got a few more fixtures coming up in the Top Flight series. We've got Aintree next, and then we've got Jubilee following that. So I wonder if we see any of these athletes dipping into any of those races. I'm sure I know one man that'll probably be at the next Top Flight race. That'll be Jason Bennett. Again, looking to get them points. But yeah, those are the next fixtures that we've got on the horizon for the Top Flight series. So yeah, I wonder if we see any of the regular faces at those races.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like we maybe need to get us on the road at some point because I think you need to meet Jason and go for a pint with him. I think you and him. I reckon you two would get on like a house on fire. Nah,
I think Jason's coming up to Newcastle Quayside 5K. We'll get out for a few.
That is a good point. To be fair, we can maybe get him in the studio, get him interviewed, or maybe one of the future podcasts. That would be good.
Yeah, Chris will put him up in the Hilton on the Quayside for the night.
You heard it here first, Jason. You're getting a 5-star luxury experience in Newcastle. I'm sure we will be able to take you out for a few pints as well. No, I think, he did put down his strengths for the race as being hills. This is a bit of a flat course. The last few courses, they've been quite, windy conditions. He's paced it perfectly. They've been slightly longer. I think this is a bit of a drop down for him. He did look to try and get a personal best. He's coached by Dave Lawrence. He's training partners, Ed Banks, Omar Ahmed, just to name a few. And he's a Birchfield Harriers. He works full time and he works in law as well, so maybe he's had a busy week as well. I mean, that's like we were just talking about with medicine, law, very, very demanding career. So hats off to him. We love seeing him out here and we love chatting about him. So, Jason, if you've got any more quirky facts in the next race, make sure you get them to us, please.
Yeah, Cam, like you mentioned there, similar to what I was saying about training blocks, a lot of these athletes that are competing today, they have jobs, family commitments. So they're fitting in their training when they can, racing when they can. So again, it's a testament to them today to put in these performances with everything else that's going on. And like you say, we can only go by what we see on the day, but we actually don't really know what's been going on in the build up to the race for the athletes, where they're at in their training. So for some of them, you know, on paper, we might think, oh, that's a bit down on their PB. But actually, if we had a bit more context to it, it might totally change our opinion on it. And we say, actually, they've had a really busy week in terms of their training, their mileage. This is a building block, a training block towards something else. And that then changes things. So I think... you know, it's hard to know what's going on with every single athlete there. But what we're going to do is we're going to stay on the stream until we get the official results through, so we can recap everything there, and hopefully we're going to get a bit of streaming footage of the podium going off. You can see the athletes still loitering around there. I tell you what, Cam, I'd be wanting to get my cool down done. My legs would be stiffening up if that was me stood there.
Well, I mean, the conditions look good, don't they? But I think, to be honest, sometimes when you finish a race, it's not always nice to be able to sit and have a bit of banter with the other athletes. You can just see as well, though, one thing we usually...
Depends if you've had a good or bad run, to be fair.
That is true.
If you've had a bad run, you don't want to be around anyone who's had a good run.
To be honest, not everyone in the race is there, to be fair. So maybe they're around the Portaloos, maybe sat in there minding their own business. But one of the big things is with the run-through events, as you can see, is the athlete village that we do tend to put up. Which is, you know, there's a number of different stalls there. There'll be brands there, there'll be freebies there. All the athletes, you can come around and get a real experience. It's not just like, you know, park run, for instance. You turn up, you do your race and you go home. It's not like that here. You can just see there. I mean, this is only a snippet of it. And you know, all the races are the same. They always have an athlete village. So people will be able to go around, grab a coffee, grab a beer, maybe get some freebies, maybe some free bars or something that, you know, from some of our sponsors.
Yeah,
and that's part of one of the big things and one of the benefits of racing with the run-through races.
Absolutely, Cam. We were saying this earlier on in the preview show during the week that these, yes, they're races, but they become an event as well. And you know, we touched upon this. There's music, there's food stalls there. You've got this athlete village. You've got a podium there. You can see there's a real buzz around that area. Lots of athletes strewn around that'll be competing later on in the day. There's other races going on today. There isn't just this one, but obviously we're bringing you the stream and the commentary for the Top Flight series. But there is a 10k going off later on today, so there's going to be lots of athletes milling around Battersea Park this morning. And yeah, we've got this event village, and it becomes something a little bit different from what a lot of other races are. And I think that's one of the real positives of the Top Flight series. You know, you've got great quality fields, you've got really good prize money, and you've got something that is more of an event. So, you know, if you're toying with doing a race and you're thinking about a Top Flight race, I can only urge you to enter into one of them.
Absolutely. And like I say as well, another big benefit, you know, some of the runners, if you want to line up against the elites, that's what happens. You'll be towing the line. In the last race we seen, was Sonia Samuels, Olympic marathon runner in 2016, getting back to some of her best, to be fair. But she was lined up against, you know, people who maybe have been their first race. You know, after the race, if you, like you said, everyone's just walking around. If you want to go and have a bit of banter, ask some of the elites for some advice, ask them what they do, see if you know, we've just said there that a lot of them have full-time jobs, you know, and they're lining up in the elite fields, and you know, running internationally. If you want to go and I say to them, you know, how do you balance it? How do you balance work? How do you balance your studies? You know, how do you balance that with the demands of training? How long do you sleep? You know, go up, approach them, say hi, introduce yourself, and you know, maybe that could be you one day lining up, and then, you know, maybe you can both get a crap together. I was just saying in the background, it's making me quite hungry actually.
So we are getting the results through now. We've got Chris Parr divvying out the results. So we've got Jonathan Collier, 14:43. Matthew Snowden was third in 14:49, so he was the triathlete that we mentioned. Samuel Gabri Salassi's time hasn't came through yet, but we did see him cross the line. We know that was around about 14:30. So you know, we know our top three are Gabri Selassie, Collier, and Snowden. Fourth place. Right, so Nina was 15:34 on the clock there. So Chris is informing me that she's triggered the £450 prize there. So that's a healthy morning's work for her. 450 plus 200 for the race win as well. So 650 quid earned by 9:30 on a Saturday morning. That's not bad, Cam.
Yeah, I definitely think she's buying the coffees today, isn't she? I mean, she would be if I was there anyway. No, that's a great performance.
Yeah, you never buy the coffees, so someone will be buying them.
But we got Alex buying them today, didn't we? So maybe I owe him one next time. But no, I think that was a great performance. I think it's well worth the trip coming over from Finland if you're going to run like that on a Saturday morning. That early in the morning, 9 o'clock. Anyone who's done a park run knows that is quite getting out of bed and racing at that time. Your body sometimes does take a while to wake up. So, and that's a great performance and well deserved for £650. And also as well, she'll get maximum points there as well. So 25 points for her. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Be interesting to see if she's whether she's in the UK for a training block or whether she intends on being back over in the UK. It'd be great to see her at some of the other fixtures. Further down in the series, and yeah, she's gonna, she's a quality athlete. There's no doubt about that. So she's gonna be in a position where she's gonna be collecting points, I would imagine, in a lot of these races. So yeah, that would be great. Great to see her back, and great to see her earning some money as well.
And just to cap things off as well with the winner of the men's race, Samuel Gebrselassie, he did actually win in 14:33. There was a bit of a delay there for some reason. His result didn't come up initially, probably just a little bit of an issue with the chip timing. But yeah, the official result 14:33, which means he took about 10 seconds out of Jonathan Collier in probably about 500 metres, which just shows the speed that he was motoring at. I mean, some of these athletes, the calibre of them, someone like Gebrselassie, they do make it look quite easy, but that is just testament to the quality of athlete that he is, and making it look as super smooth as that. But yeah, no, it was a great performance from him as well. I think, to be honest, he could have went quicker. He could have maybe challenged.
I do as well.
He could have maybe challenged for that 14:15 if he really went from it from the start. But sometimes it is about just coming out, winning a race, and moving on to the next one, and maybe practicing for other races. Maybe if he's going to do some track races, maybe try and practice a sit and kick for that as well. The kick itself, I mean, it was still from a fair distance out. I mean, he didn't hang about with about a K, just over a K to go, wasn't it? I think 1,500 metres to go.
Yeah, it was. You seen him pull out with maybe a mile to go and have a little look. He must have been feeling good there and thought, well, I know I've got this. It's just timing it right and when to go. So I've got more news on the elite women's results. Shauna was through in second place in 15:51. So again, that's a real solid run from her. Just outside her PB. Her PB is 15:46, but 5 seconds. It's there or thereabouts. So we know she's in good form. I wonder if we'll be getting a little dance from Shauna, picking up a medal in the World Irish Dancing Championships previously. So it would be quite nice to see a little jig from her, wouldn't it, Cam?
Absolutely. I think I think as well, she did say that she is actually based in Kerry in Ireland, alongside her coach, which means that her coach is able to keep a watchful eye on her. And she did say that her coach is actually her role model as well. And she did as well say that her training partners, Declan Ginner, John Collins, Derek Griffin, Donald White, Eddie O'Connor, Amy Pullman Damon, Martin Dineen, all of her training partners. She did give you all a shout out in the spreadsheet, and she said that you are all the best and you've helped to get where she is today. So if you are watching, you're doing a great job supporting each other. I'm sure your performances as well will shine through too with that. It does make training a lot easier, especially when you're going for social coffees afterwards. I used to do that when I was part of the LD crew as well. I'm sure the boys still do that. One of the best parts of training. Yeah,
I'm sure you never paid for any of them coffees as well, Cam, so no wonder it was the best part of training. We can see the women, the elite women there getting onto the podium there. So I've got Shauna there in second place, and here comes Nina taking first place, a quick time, a PB, and a lot of money away with her today. So that's she'll be over the moon with her morning. And we can see third place there, Tessa McCormack as well. So well done to those three female athletes there. They've done great. Real good morning's work for them.
Yeah, it's great to see as well. Tessa McCormack back. She is a University of Birmingham alumni. I've seen her training out before. She is a class act. She ran half marathon this year in 72:13 at Seville, and she's 16:24 personal best. So she's clearly getting back to her best as well. It's great to see. But yeah, no, we didn't quite. We may as well talk them quickly through a couple of while we're waiting for the men's to be put on the podium. Another one, Stephanie Hewitt, we've seen. She's a 5k runner on the track, actually. We didn't quite see, we haven't looked at the results yet, so we didn't see whether she was actually finishing yet, but we'll get back to that in a second as we get onto the finish.
Yeah, so Matt Snowden taking the podium, third place for him. It's a solid morning's work for Matt. Triathlete. He is more predominantly an 8 and 1500 metre guy, so he'll be fairly pleased with that, I would imagine. See Jonathan Collier there taking second place. He's targeting the Highgate night of 10k PBs, so good sharpener for him. This a 5k at this time of the year, and he's our winner, Samuel Gabri-Selassie there, taking first place. What I would say looked like a comfortable, controlled run from Gabri-Selassie. So, great work for the lads there. They've all done really well, and it'll be interesting to see how the seasons pan out for them. I think they're all going to be going probably in slightly different directions. I'd imagine Matt will be hitting the track scene, that 8 and 1500, so he'll be sharpening up. Gabri-Selassie will probably be, the 5Ks on the track as well. And, Collier said he's targeting that night of 10k PB, so he's going to be looking for a big run there, possibly building up to another half marathon or marathon later on in the year. So well done, guys. Great running from you lot there.
Yeah, and just as I was about to say, with Stephanie Hewitt, she was just behind Millie and Maddie Jordan-Lee, which was, was a good performance. And she did actually come with the aim of breaking 17 minutes. I think she was just outside 17 minutes. So she's round about there or thereabouts for her time, for her targets. And she's using it for prep for the Comeback 5000, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So I think it's 2 weeks today for the Comeback 5000, and the night of 10k PBs as well was also what she's looking to target as well before she drops back down to 1500s, 3ks and 5ks, and she looks as well to be. Aiming to medal at the Scottish Championships in August. So that's quite a long-term plan as well to keep building on year. She really said as well at the end of it, she tried to emphasise on the fact that she felt like the sky was the limit. So, good luck to her. I hope she gets that Scottish Championship medal in August. I'm sure if she carries on performing the way she is now, I'm sure she'll get there.
Yeah, so I think we'll wrap things up now, Cam. A wonderful morning of 5k races there. Some really good performances. Again, thanks for joining me on commentary today. And hopefully you guys will see us next at the Aintree 5k in May, and then we've got the Jubilee Bridge 10k in June. So again, those are all part of the Top Flight series, so me and Cam will be back on commentary. Chris might be with us. He's been very quiet today. He might not have had his morning coffee because he was probably expecting you to buy him one, Cam, but he'll have a long wait for that. So thanks for joining us on the stream this morning. Much appreciated, and we hope to see you back at the next fixture. Cam, thanks.
Cheers.